Hello everyone and welcome back to Niche version 0.5.1, the hybrid update. And we are back with the Bearynea tribe, and it has unfortunately been a few days. I am so sorry about that, guys. Just as I made this grand declaration of trying to do a niche a day, then bam, a typhoon hit here in Taipei, and I was very worried about that. It turned out not to be such a big deal, but we did lose internet and we did lose power on and off, so that was kind of an event. And then I ended up with this really bad cold, so I apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I guess I am in good company with any of our creatures who would occupy the sickly cliffs over here. But we are back with the Bearynea tribe, and today I am really going to try to keep up with our friendly Bearynea, and we're gonna see if we can finally have a son from him. So our beast has had many beautiful daughters. Hopefully they will go on, and let's actually have them clear away some of the grasses over here. Oh no, I wanted you to clear the grass, you silly girl. There you go. There you go. I want to be able to see what you guys are doing back here, even though they might prefer being hidden away in the grasses and the shadows. But today I really want to focus on the Beast and Bella's lovely daughters and see if we can get them to breed out those Bearynea genes a little bit stronger. I would really love to see what a niche creature who has as many of those genes as possible actually looks like. So if we can bring to the forefront that claw, that hind legs, maybe the snout, what does a nicheling with all of those traits look like? So that's going to be our goal with the Bearynea tribe, and we're going to poke around a little bit more, see if there's any other hidden bits and pieces to this update. But I do have a challenge in mind, a new niche challenge in mind that I want to try out with a new tribe. So we'll continue to poke away with the Bearynea tribe, but for the most part we're going to be just enjoying what patterns show up and enjoying the little stories and trying to see what a more or less purebred Bearynea creature would look like. And then we're gonna start a fun new challenge that I'm really looking forward to on niche. And by the way, if you guys have any niche challenge ideas, and I see a lot of people who post really fun ones in the comments all the time, but if you have any kind of more simpler premise ones, then please share them with me if you would like to see me do a specific challenge. I've heard about the queen bee, the lone wolf, and I'm thinking about a really fun one that's kind of related to spots, a lot of spots and children, and I think it would be kind of interesting to do. So there's that idea. And I'm just giving you guys a heads up because I've enjoyed the Bearyenas, but I feel like I'm kind of ready to start a new tribe and just kind of experiment a little bit with some of their stories. So we're going to go ahead and just move on, see what we're going to get for all of the babies. Did we finally have a little boy? You guys, we finally had a little baby Bearynea boy. Oh my goodness. Let's give him a proper name. We have, in fact, I need to pull up my special name list. Actually, you know what I want to name him? I want to name him Gaston. There we go. From Beauty and the Beast, we have Gaston. And could he possibly have babies with his sisters? Which doesn't ever sound very appealing. But sure enough, Beauty and Gaston are a perfect match for one another. So we may actually have them go ahead and have children instead of making the lovely daughters of our wonderful Bella and Beast end up having to mate with their dad. Thankfully, a little boy has shown up and we can breed with him instead. So that'll be a goal that we have. We just have to wait for him to grow up. But until then, Belle will continue to follow her beloved mate wherever he happens to roam and have the children that he wants to have. And Eco over here I think would be a little bit freaked out by this big guy showing up, but he has been busy chasing down that fish that he really wanted. When did you get a leech? Eco, I swear I can't even see the leech because he's got so much of his funky colored spots in his fur. That's pretty hilarious. Alright, well if I know that Beauty is actually going to be the perfect mate. Oh, there we go. And her hunting skills are apparently great. Holy days. And look at the size of Fifi here. That big body is much larger now in these versions. It's kind of interesting to see. And Janet was going to come on down and she was going to learn the quieter ways of life here with Rada and Zoxy. And they're going to focus on just clearing away some of the grass and gathering up some of these delicious berries. They don't really have a very overeager or very adventurous lifestyle, just kind of peaceful when it comes to these little creatures. And that's the other reason I think it'll be really fun to dive into a new challenge. The next version of Niche is set to come out, for those of you guys who may be curious, in September, when they are going to be working on the final update for the first official version of Niche to officially come out and leave early access. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And that also means that we have a couple months of adventuring and coming up with fun challenges in the current versions to do. And then Soku is going to pop over here, and he's going to try to be kind of flirty with some of these ladies, which we may have to take a bit of a risk on. But Soku and Janet are actually the two that we want to pair up. Soku has got those amazing spots that he inherited from his father Sufim, and he's got the poison fangs, he's got the claw. He might be just unique enough and just fierce looking enough to really attract little Janet, though she is just so amazingly kind of demure for one of the creatures born from a Bearynea. She just has the plain color brown fur. She doesn't look at first like she has any really outgoing special traits, but she does happen to have that claw. So, it'll be interesting to see what her children will be like. Meanwhile, little Juki, I really love him. I kind of love the idea of him as a little shaman. I would really love to come up with a list of niche challenges, actually. That might be one of my next goal in the coming days, for if we are going to tackle doing like a niche a day all the way through the end of the year, it'd be fun to rotate in some of the challenges as well as continue on with some of the legacy stories that we have, like the Yukir tribe, who we're going to be visiting with again tomorrow. So don't worry, the Yukirs will be back too. Alright, little Juki seems to be quite the fighter. He seems to really enjoy tackling things and taking them out, and he has super high fertility, and he's got D and B immunity. Let's see, does that make him a good mate for anybody? Oh, Fifi and Juki could actually end up being mates. And let's see, Dusha over here has eye immunity, but he's a male. It's hard to tell because his little mane is so tiny compared to the others. Oh yeah, he and his brother were starting to wander around. Renu has I and B immunity as well. Suro has D and A. We've got lots of beautiful baby boys. I wonder, have there been many challenges made just yet that have to do with the patterns? I have one in mind, but man, just all of these patterns and stripes, it's so fascinating. Alright, then we have, oh that's right, Lucas was just establishing his little territory back here and getting ready to try to lure a female over. Oh no! Oh, their baby was born sickly, but she's a fighter. Look at her. She may have doubled up immunity, but she has high fertility and she's got double claws. This is a little fighter female, even if she's unfortunately kind of sickly. We're gonna name her IU after one of the amazing names that you guys have left in the comments. Always collecting up those names. It's huge. I need to publish the name list too. I'll try to remember to do that soon. Alright, so we're gonna have to unfortunately back up away from our baby girl a little bit, and that does mean that the nest is kind of infected in a way, and thus occupied. So Tira might actually end up, since they learned from the sickly cliffs that if you have a sickly sneezing baby, you have to give them a little bit of space or else you're gonna get sick too. But I wonder if this nest being occupied would actually make Tira come over and try having a child with Lucas, because Dios over here is in charge, like a male ostrich. He's in charge of whatever comes out of the nest in terms of children, and if he can manage to get her pregnant and have her build another nest near his home nest using the amount of nest material we have left, then we'll be able to keep Tira over here, but she's going to be attracted to that big, beautiful, comfortable, empty nest. So we'll have to see who gets to move first. That's going to be interesting. We'll probably determine it based on who has the most strength. Being able to do things like that where we have a little bit of a challenge with how much nest material we collect and which male gets the female will also be very fun in our future niche episodes. Alright, let's see. Meanwhile, Jacques over here is Tira's father, I believe, and he doesn't really have any available females that he could breed with, and he does have babies still in the nest, so I think he's just going to be focused on kind of like tending to the area around his nest and not go too far. And I don't think he'd want to take over any of the other males' nest. And little Juki, I think, would be kind of, oh, there he goes, kind of an adventurer, and he would want to come over and do a bit of hunting. Renu, can Renu breed with any of these guys? Nope. What was that? I thought I saw something moving in the bushes, but apparently not. Alright, Renu is a little bit of an adventurer too, but she's very eager to find all of the possible roots that she can dig up and eat. And then these two, little Dracus and his brother Dusha, are little adventurers on their own, and they're kind of just rustling through the grass, and they've got their eye on wiggling over to one of the big trees. So let's see what they get up to. And then down here, it's really amazing to watch Beauty, or well, I should say Bella and the Beast, interact, because he seems to stick close to her lately. Oh, what do we have going on? That was an interesting sound. I heard something new. And we have little baby Anara, who unfortunately is sickly. What? I thought that we were pretty... Anara, no! We need to give you a new name. And we may have to start naming you after... Let's see. We'll go with Andrea. And it is not a Beauty and the Beast name, but since we're going to be trying out that new challenge pretty soon, I think that's okay. It was a good idea before I realized that surprisingly there's a lot more male characters in a lot of the Disney movies than female, even if the female is the main character. I never realized that before till I tried to use those names. So it got pretty interesting pretty fast. Let's see, and I think Iko, he is now bleeding. What? How did he get attacked? Okay, I think poor Iko is going to wiggle his way back over to his sisters. Did he get attacked from the friendly Bearynea? That could cause a big shift in their tribe. I could definitely see that not going over very well. Alright, Gaston is going to stay near his sister Beauty. They're going to kind of stick together. Miriam, I think, is a little bit distracted by being able to... Ooh, is that some fish hiding? Oh, Miriam! Miriam! She and her sister just found like a whole nest and a perfect little bunny burrow, and they've even got spots to fish. This is perfect! I think that all of the sisters are kind of clustered together, and Gaston is just swept up under Beauty's paws. Does she have a fishing tail? Whoa, she's even got a fishing tail. So Beauty would be a good fisher. That would be a perfect nest for her. So Beauty and Gaston will probably end up nesting over here. And I think that's because this part of the family is just becoming a lot more insular than the rest of the tribe, which is kind of like a little territorial, but they still like trying to share, try to just, you know, share information and kind of interact with one another. And I wonder if we should send off Fifi and Miriam to try to go and find mates of their own. And we got to watch out for little Andrea over here. She's going to get Bella sick, unfortunately. No, she's going to get Gaston sick. No, I don't need that. But we may actually send out Miriam and Fifi to look for mates of their own in the tall grasses. Meanwhile, Renu, she's so beautiful, but I think that she's just 100% focused. Whoop, there's a bunny. There's another bunny in the way. Those bunnies were in the way of her trying to collect up and her little brother Juki will probably be super excited about that. But they were in the way of her trying to dig up roots, so maybe she was just trying to fight them for the roots. Alright, then we've got Dusha. Let's have him and his brother continue to kind of wrestle with each other. Oh, look at that! Dracus actually took out that mole. That's very interesting. And meanwhile, Lucas. So now, with a sickly baby inside of the nest, and Dios frantically trying to gather up, he has got enough nest material that he could lure Tira back over here. But I feel like Tira might ignore him because the thing is, she would want to build a nest next to, well, she could move over here. Alright, Dios, who's stronger? Lucas is actually stronger. So Lucas is stronger and has an empty nest. I think that that would determine Tia's mind, and Lucas would be very excited because now he has the female. And Dios, meanwhile, is going to be clearing out the area around his nest to gather up more nesting material. But what I would like to do in the future, because I think it'd be really interesting, is have maybe I'll do that with the next tribe, actually. I've got a couple of good challenges in mind that I want to try to pursue now that we've poked away at some of the beginning of what this update has. And we know that it's going to be the same update until mid-ish September is what I've heard. So quite a long time that we'll be able to enjoy with all these beautiful patterns. But I like the idea of the males being very territorial of their main mossy nest, and then if there's enough nest material, they can keep a female who happened to be in the area and have her build a nest. But they can't build the nest themselves, and then they can maintain the nest. And if the nest is like built and maintained in their area, then that counts as like an empty nest that'll attract a female. But if they don't have enough nesting material, then a different male might attract the female to his nest, and it might be very hard to get her back away again. And what I would like to do on top of that is make it so the males can raid each other's temporary nest to try to gather enough of the grass material to attract females, so they could destroy one another's nest in the interest of trying to attract the female to them. But we haven't really stuck with that very strongly in the Bunya tribe, but I might do like a bird of paradise sort of tribe, and we could angle ourselves towards the jungle and try that out. That might be really fun to have very territorial males, very specific nest, and then the females who would operate based on like where's the empty nest, and then which male has traits that they personally are looking out more for. Alright, meanwhile, Sali, can you breed with anybody? I don't think you need to. No, she could breed with a couple of the other males, but I don't think she really wants to. And Nanano is in charge of this really productive tree with his mom. And then meanwhile over here, Janet is learning the very quiet ways of gathering grass and berries, and I think that Soku is a little bit enchanted with her, and he has his very own nest right over here. Let's see, and Zoxy can go ahead and gather up some of these berries, and I think that Rada may have heard her brother call out, so Rada's gonna jump over here and we'll have her go ahead, lick to cure bleeding on Eco, and she'll help Eco kind of heal up because she is very loyal to her poor brother who's a little bit sickly and awkward in his own right. Alright, we've got lots of little stories going on. Jeez, I love that about Niche. There's just always so much to do. And Jacques, I wonder how the males would pass their nest down. Would they like pick a child that they feel has the trait they really want to pass on the most and like pass that down? I feel like Jacques would really want to pass down his collecting hand. So, because he does have nimble fingers, and so does Suro. So I think he'd be training Suro up on how to be a good collector and get lots and lots of berries for food and tend to his nest. And meanwhile, I guess the other thing is, as long as the bones of a deceased female are in the nest, no other female is really going to want that nest. So if a deceased female has died in that nest, or if there's been a sickly creature in the nest, then of course a female wouldn't want to take that nest. So that makes sense. Anyway, I need to focus on the bunyas. Sorry, bunyas. I'm just so excited about like these bird of paradise and Dalmatian, or I almost let it slip. The other challenges that I would like to take on soon. Alright, let's see if we can wiggle some of our creatures away. Did you get sick? Bella's not sick, thank goodness. Alright, Andrea. I think that your Aunt Rada would have noticed your sneeze. What's this? Interesting. She's got the cool down for being in the water. And she's going to remove the leech and try to cure her brother. He's going to wiggle over here. I think he's a little bit nervous about the beast. And Rada, I think, would have just noticed a little Andrea sneezing and would be willing to take from her distant sister of some kind, Bella, the sickly child over to the sickly cliffs. So they can stay over on the sandbar maybe and frolic in these flowers. Alright, and we'll start moving around to different islands as needed too, but I think even though I love this branch of the Bunya family, I think we will try to go for a purebred family as quickly as possible. So I think finding the nest with Fifi and Miriam would have gotten them very excited about the idea of possibly having children of their own one day, and possibly having a nest of their own one day. So these two sisters are going to start moving, and they're going to start looking and searching for a mate of their own. And they don't want a weird colored, weak mate like all of these creatures. They want somebody strong like their father, the beast. So they're going to go search for a new beast. And meanwhile, Gaston is over here helping his mom out. And I think that he and Beauty are pretty content staying closer to home. And Beauty is, you know, she thinks that the orange mane and the highlights that her brother have are kind of interesting. And so she is willing to settle for her brother, but her sisters are very much more adamant about finding a strong Bearynea beast, not just a half breed, but a full-blooded Bearynea that could become their mate. So they're breaking away from the Neshling tribe. And meanwhile, Bella is just enchanted with her mate as usual. And she's just going to keep an eye on him and curl up in the nest, having child after child. Let's see. And then over here, Soku and Janet, I think, has very interestingly enough ended up becoming more of a nicheling creature. That's just more in her personality. So she's sort of turned her back on the other branch of the family. But Soku, what can I do with you, my friend? I think that Soku might come over and he might jump around with Iko and just make sure that Iko's doing all right, and maybe splash around in the water for a little while. So can I get him over here? I wonder. Let's see. Cold resistance. He's cooled down right now because he's in the water. And his heat resistance. That's so cool to watch those change. It's so interesting how they've changed so much since when we first started with all of our little nichelings all so long ago. Alright, Nanano is just hanging out with his mom. I think that he is more led by his stomach than anything, so he doesn't mind just sticking around the tree and gathering nuts more or less his whole life. And we have a new baby over here. Whoa, Nuta! And he's sickly too! What? That is gonna start getting you rejected as a mate, Tira, as beautiful as you are. Another little fighter who's another sickly creature. Oh my goodness. We're gonna go ahead and name him Amor, which is one of the names you guys have given. All of these are names you guys have given. Whoops, too many M's. Amor. And he's going to be a really strong creature with his doubled up claws. Look at him. He's got level 5 strength. He can fish the day away, but he is unfortunately sickly. So I think that Tira, in her silliness, would be startled away from that nest too. Meanwhile, let's see, Ayu, I wonder if, like, in the future when we do the challenge where the males have the nest, one of the things they have to do is, like, take care of their children and keep them near the nest until they're old enough to go. But I think Ayu can come on over, and she'll kind of poke at this rock and play with it. And Dios now has an opportunity to lure back Tira now that she's been scared away from the nest by a sickly child, even though there's a sickly child over here too. I'm gonna have to think about the rules for that. Let's see. Alright, well, let's try again. Maybe eventually we'll end up with the healthy one. And then Lucas is going to be a little nervous. He can't destroy that nest to get rid of the sickness, so he's going to keep an eye on his son. His responsibility to keep an eye on the little one until he becomes a teen at least. We'll figure it out. That'll be a fun little rule set to kind of make for myself. And then Dusha and his brother continue to wrestle and tumble and just kind of explore the wild world that they've stumbled into over there. And Jacques continues to teach his young son over here how to look for food, and I think he'd be quite charmed that his son can actually dig up roots. That's very useful, actually. Alright, we'll come over here and we'll get more food. Jacques is working really hard on that. And let's see what's going on. That took care of that side of the family. And then Rada is going to jump back over here. Could she mate? Could she possibly mate with our little adventurous Soku? Possibly. I really like Rada, so I would like to find her a mate of some kind. And then we've got this little adventurous over here, Juki, who's going to dig up this spot, and that would probably make Renu a little annoyed because she was going to dig up that spot. Thank you very much. Oops. And Renu apparently is a fantastic bunny hunter, even though all she wants is to be left alone to dig up some roots, which is kind of hilarious. Alright, well, we're poking away at the bunions again. I'm actually really starting to fall in love with them once more. I am in love with them, but I've got some ideas for challenges in mind, and you guys know how much I love establishing a strong story and legacy in in our little families. So we may continue doing that with trying to make the strength of the purebred Bearyneas, but I do have a couple other fun challenges that I kind of want to poke away at. But if you guys have other niche challenges, we have got that personal challenge I have of trying to get a niche out a day all the way through the rest of the year to try to shoot for. There may be typhoons and unexpected fevers and colds that delay me, but I'm going to do my best. So if you got lots of niche challenge ideas, let me know. I will collect them up, we'll go through them, and we'll pick one or two to kind of work through on occasion, because I think that would be a lot of fun. But alright, everybody looks like they're doing well over here, and I think it's going to be exciting to see where Miriam and Fifi end up adventuring as they search and kind of carry on Mama Bunya's original goal of searching out the Bearynea and returning to that fiercer, more furry branch of the family tree. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.